All right. Welcome everyone to the Koochiching County Board of Commissioners regular meeting for Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. Would you please help me everyone with the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks everyone. First order of business is to approve the proposed agenda with additions and or deletions. We do have a couple of additions under sheriff business. They will be placed as under B, 2 and 3 will be the additions, just as they read on the addition sheet there. And with that, we have no other additions and no deletions. No. So Chair would accept the motion to approve as with the additions.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you. Next up is to approve the minutes from the January 7th, 2025 regular meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre. Any discussion on the minutes? Everything look good? Hearing no discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you. Next up is financial business. Items A, approved courthouse claims, and item B, approved highway claims. I accept the motion on items 3A and B.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Erickson.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Howell. Any discussion on the claims? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you. And next up is consider renewing Range Association of Municipalities and Schools membership. That membership is $950. It gives us access to the informational items and the membership meetings and dinners and things like that. We can attend, so we don't have a vote on their board, but we can attend and be involved with that respect. And that's a lot of the Iron Range areas. This is exactly what it is. There's schools and municipalities and counties and things that are involved in this too. So is that something that we would like to continue doing?
I'll make the motion.
A motion by Commissioner Roach.
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Hell. To renew the Range Area Association of Municipalities and Schools membership for $950. Any discussion?
Has anybody attended?
You went on that a few
I
times?
did not attend. No, I keep.
You have though. Haven't?
I have
No.
not. No. I go with the emails and.
Is it an annual or a monthly meeting?
I believe they have. I don't know if it's quarterly. They have an annual end of the year meeting type deal. They have updates throughout the year. They facilitate different. I should say they facilitate different regional issues. I guess from what I've seen, some of the ambulance discussions started regionally through RAMS with the previous director. No different than this stuff here now. They kind of bring the communities together with these regional issues, and then they kind of go from there. They set up panel discussions, and then kind of see where it goes from there. From what I've been involved in, I did attend a range deal with the ambulance stuff here probably a couple of years ago.
That's what
in one of the townships on the Iron Range that kind of RAM set up, and they had fire chiefs and ambulance directors and stuff from the region and stuff discussing the ambulance need and staffing shortages and things like that. So they do serve a purpose and regionally, and it's nice to be tied in with some of the Iron Range counties too. They share similar things with us.
Are they standalone or are they
who's their fiscal agent, or are they their own? Or?
I believe they're their own entity, a nonprofit type entity, and just kind of vet. They have a director, recent director, the last director, Zita, and then she moved on to the IIIIG executive director position, and then Scott Pelletier was director now. So, yeah, it's something for which we have time to do it, to go to everything. We just sometimes don't have time, and so that's
a stand that veterans draw from a lot of the towns, schools, and whatnot. So.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said, we don't have a vote for anything there. We're not a part of the voting group. We can't be on the board, the executive board, or anything like that. So we strictly are a member, and that's it. So. Any further discussion? Questions? We have a first and a second. No other discussions. I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Next up, to consider approval of a 3-year or 6-year Maximus service cost allocation contract and authorize administrator to sign. I was just talking to Administrator Cole here a second ago. What this entails, this has to do with federal reimbursement management of the services that we provide and how they kind of track that type of stuff and get us in the right direction. It goes along with the accounting and the audit services that we receive. This is a mandatory thing that we need to do. I don't recall a lot of information about this here other than what we just talked about. Do you have any additional thoughts on that?
No, it's just part of our accounting standards requirement and part of our audit. So we contract for them to put together the required documents to meet the GASB standards. And it looks at our indirect costs related to federal reimbursement or federal programs. We do a time study every so often and submit that along with some financial information, and they put together a report that we submit and allows us to comply with the requirements.
Now you see they're offering a 3 or a 6-year contract. Maximus offering a 3-year contract for $10,220, $33.60 in years 1 and 2, and $3,500 in year 3, or a 6-year contract for $20,440, which is breaks down to $3,360 in years 1 through 4, and $3,500 in years 5 and 6. If we were to add on, I would assume that we're saving a year basically of savings. We're getting 2 years of savings actually from $3,500 to $3,360. So it's not a heck of a lot there, but it's something. So and there's really not. This is service that we really haven't went out for.
Like I said, I've been around the calendar year once. I've seen it once, but I don't know what else is out there for firms or.
They prepare stuff that we couldn't do ourselves.
Correct.
I mean, I see they're based out of Virginia, so I assume they probably deal with quite a few different
Public entities.
Yeah. We get. Do we? I mean, I guess the big question is, do we get our money's worth? Which we would have to probably look at a little deeper, right? So.
Well, yeah, I guess they've met our required standards. I mean, I didn't have any issues. They help us gather the right information and then put the whole 90-page report together. And
There is a report that we can look at, or you've seen. I mean, I don't need to see it, but they do provide us with how much they're recovering or allowing us to bill.
Yeah.
I'm just looking here, it doesn't show that there's any difference between if we do a 3-year or a 6-year, still the same price, $10,220 for a 3-year program, or $20,440. So why won't we go with a 3-year? We're not gonna get a discount for 6.
Yeah, I think that's the way
Is there a
to.
motion?
I'll make a motion for a 3-year contract instead of a 6.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Second, Commissioner
Yep.
McIntyre. All right. To settle on a 3-year contract
Yep.
for Maximus, in the amount of $10,220. Any further discussion?
Is that payable upfront, or do you pay $3,500 a year
Annually.
annually?
Anything else? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And motion carries. Thank you. Next up is to authorize signature to a 2024 audit engagement letter. This is a standard procedure for the auditors to get going on their 2024 audit. Do I understand it?
I'll move.
Thank you, Commissioner Erickson.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And motion carries. Next item is approve Association of Minnesota Counties 2025 Policy Committee appointments and voting delegates. I believe we kind of discussed that. Does anybody have any changes with that? I think we discussed who we wanted our alternates to be. I think we're kind of designated for the different policy committees, each of us, but then I think we added a couple of people here and there aware of their new appointment. So we have myself, Commissioner Roach, Commissioner Hell, Commissioner McIntyre, Commissioner Erickson, Administration Director Adam Coe, HHS Director Derek Foss, and Environmental Service Director Matt Quinn. Does that recollect what we discussed?
Yep.
Right. If that is, I'll just go over the committee appointments or the different policy committees that we're on. Commissioner Hell is the Environmental and Natural Resource Policy. Myself is the General Government Policy. Commissioner Roach is the Health and Human Service Policy. Commissioner McIntyre is the Public Safety Policy Committee. And Commissioner Erickson is Transportation and Infrastructure Policy Committee. All right. Everything looks good. I would accept a motion to accept the committee list as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Thank you, Commissioner Hell. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Our next item is to approve the 2025 committee list. Again, we had some discussion. We did some lateral movement here and there. Is everybody okay with the few changes that were here? I won't go over all the committees here, but everybody kind of used to what they're doing and where they're going and stuff. And we did, like I say, we did have a couple of minor changes here and there, but and obviously if anything comes up for anybody, just bring it up for discussion. And if we've been filling in for here and there when we get double booked or something, that seems to be working okay.
Yep.
So, all right. Everything looks appropriate. I would accept the motion to accept the 2025 committee list.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we're going to have a update, jail LAC update. Any Brandon? Yes?
Good morning. Brandon with ICS. We'll be doing a board update for the construction project for the Koochiching County Jail addition that's happening right outside.
I turn that one on.
Yep.
There you go.
Thank you.
There we go. Do have a couple of these in color here.
Thank you.
Go to the second page. The items that I'll be covering, construction update, upcoming items, the schedule, and then open up for any questions. For an update, upper and lower level CMU, that's those concrete masonry units. Bearing walls are complete, upper and lower levels. Mechanical and electrical undergrounds near 100% completion, and lower level roofing is progressing right along. Upcoming items to complete the roofing activities for the interior slab following undergrounds and roofing activities. We have poured out a few locations kind of by the cell area for the slabs. Complete mechanical and electrical rough-ins. Erect the interior walls, that's the CME walls and the steel stud with drywall. Set upper level hollow core roofing, that's that rough structure that the roofing goes on. And then work towards getting dried in. We are basically dried in. We have the lower membrane below the insulation. Once that's on, we're basically dry. We can pour slabs, don't worry about the weather. Move on to the next page. I have some pictures that shows the roofing activities. That's that lower membrane that you see right now before the insulation gets on. Next page. We're blocking up the skylights. That lets in the natural light into housing units. Making sure we have plywood on top so no one will fall in. And you see the plumbing undergrounds there, and then they're backfilling over that area. Next page. See the electrical conduit running under the ground. A lot of conduit in this jail. A lot of wire to be pulled. They're doing a good job. The next page, that's that CMU, those concrete masonry units that we're talking about. They're erecting those bearing walls up in the upper level there. And the next page, this is the housing units, the north side of the jail, where you see the cells. They have door frames in. We have the vapor barrier, and some of those areas we have poured the slabs in. When I made this presentation, we didn't have pictures yet for the slabs that were poured. All right, schedule's tracking right along. To go towards the bottom of this page, we are showing slab on grade. We started that. Lower level roofing going right along. Roofing, once we're dried in, which we typically are, or right now, it's not within the critical path. Next, after we get the slabs all poured, we're going to start interior masonry, framing up those walls, along with interior framing of the steel studs. With mechanical rough-ins, fire suppression, electrical rough-ins after that. On the next page here. Then we'll do drywall, paint, tile, all of our finish work, carpeting, site work to happen in the spring, and then renovations. We are looking at trying to start a little bit earlier in March if everything aligns. We're still working with the building official and the engineers to see if that'll work out. Just the thing with the renovations, once we start, we can't stop. We have to keep chugging along for the courts. Some more work on that. That's all I have. Any questions from the board?
Anyone have any? Yeah?
No.
So you mentioned there's cement going on there. Right now you're putting some interior cement?
Correct. Yep, the slabs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a little bit difficult with the cold weather doing it, but we working along with Wagner to get the concrete and going well.
And then you said the tie-in here. What's that tie-in entails? I know we've had some discussion on that and kind of the timing of that.
Yep.
And then working with the courts and stuff to make sure that that they have access to some type of a jury room and things. Is that still kind of up in the air a little bit yet for timeline?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we're working with the POC committee on that. Yep, and Adam. Yeah, we're trying, if it works out, start in March, but if not, we'll have to go with originally, I think we were showing May.
Okay.
Yeah, but kind of has to work out with that fresh air in the room. If we can get everything procured, like the cabinets, that's about a 12-week lead. If we can get that figured out soon, we'll be able to start.
The courts have set up their jury room in the basement conference room, so they're prepped and ready to go. They had some equipment that was ordered by Supreme Court or something for new jury technology, so they've set that up in the basement, and I think they're going to start using that whether we're renovating or not, so they're kind of ready to pivot anytime.
So lots of coordination going on.
Correct.
And lining stuff up. Any questions on the update? Anyone? All right, well, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, next up we have sheriff business. We have a sheriff is here.
Morning.
Happy New Year.
Already.
Like fast. We have a few things, a couple of additions, so we don't forget those. You want to start with the squad?
Yeah, this is John's item, but he couldn't make it. He has another meeting, but it is just seeking authorization for us to go for bid for one squad truck as budgeted in our 2025 budget.
How long is it gonna take to get it?
That's a really good question. Hopefully not long. We've seen a loosening a bit of the market, so we're hoping that our local dealers will submit a bid too. Hopefully we've been going off. I forget the Burnsville Dodge, I think, is the one that's been winning the bid, but hopefully one of our two locals will submit a bid and it'll be competitive, and then hopefully we'll have something to look at.
Yep. There.
One thing I've heard is you're kind of freaking out that the people, they see a white sheriff's truck and they're not used to it now,
Yeah.
so just gonna let people know.
Yeah, and my preferred color is the darker the black, but
Right.
we got those two whites because that's the only thing we could get, and some people love them, some people hate them, and most people are taken by surprise.
There was a semi that went in the ditch by the old Louis.
Yeah.
There was a green truck.
That must have been a
DNR.
DNR,
cars,
yeah.
Yeah. They're green.
There's a white one sitting on Highway 11 this morning. Yeah, out there. All the truckers can hear it.
You blend in the wintertime.
So let's just seek bids, see if we
Just
got-
seek bids, just see what comes
Well,
back, and then once we
okay.
get the bids, then we'll come back to the board for authorization at that point to
Okay.
accept the bid.
Need a motion?
Yes, please.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Thank you, Commissioner Lynch. Any discussion on the authorizations? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Next up are our additions. The first one is the 2025 Emergency Communication Board and Regional Advisory Committee appointments.
Yeah, so annually, we have to appoint a primary and an alternate both to the Emergency Communication Board and the Regional Advisory Committee prior to their annual in-person meeting, which this year is January 23rd. So that's what this item is, and I'm asking the board to appoint myself as the primary to the Emergency Communication Board and Commissioner Roach as the alternate, which is no change from the last year. And then to the Regional Advisory Committee, it would be John Fromke as the primary and Kerry Geis as the alternate. Once again, no change from last year.
All right.
More of a housekeeping item, but they require us that we do it yearly, that we have to, the county has to appoint the representation to the board.
All right. Wishes of the board.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Huff. Any discussion?
I would just offer up if anyone wants to be on the board, I'd be more than happy to not be, but I've been on it for the last 10 years, and it is important that we're involved in the regional committees.
Is it a requirement a commissioner sit on that advisory?
It's not a requirement. It's always preferred that they have at least a commissioner as, you know, an alternate, someone who's aware, because they really want the governing bodies to take an interest in region. Like the radio stuff is not fun at all, but because it does. I mean, it does cost money, whether it's county money, state money. It costs money to, you know, keep communications up. So they do really like to see that the counties are involved in it. So yes, not a requirement that a commissioner sits on either one of the committees, but I know they appreciate it that the county board at least takes an interest in it. So.
Okay. So then the same question for yourself, is there a requirement that anyone else could if they really wanted to, or is that something that you prefer
Yeah,
to do?
it's not a requirement that I sit on it, but I like to, because I like to know what's going on too.
Okay.
Because I'll be honest with you, the first few years they throw out all these acronyms and you have no clue what they mean, and then after a while, you know, so I sit on the Emergency Communications Board, that's the regional board, and then I also sit on the statewide Emergency Communications Board Finance Committee, so there's some overlap, but it's not fun, but I think it's important that we're involved in it, and we've gotten some grants through the ECB, so I think it's an important thing.
All right. Okay, so we do have a motion for those two appointments, four appointments, excuse me, as addition number 2. We have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no other discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. And next up is the emergency contract, emergency management coordinator contract. And this is an annual as well?
Yep, this is annual. This is the contract that pays for Willie Koochiching to be the county's emergency management coordinator. He's been our coordinator since June or July of 2015, so it's been about a 10-year agreement. We renew it annually. There is no change in terms of the contract or price of the contract from last year's. It is a budgeted item in 2025.
And he does do a good job, especially during the floods, for communicating between all the people.
You know, and so we have a minute. I think I've had a schedule. I will say Willie does a fantastic job, and everyone saw, you know, the work that he did during the flooding. They don't see a lot of what he does just on the day-to-day stuff. We just had a training out in Rainier on, I forget the title, is like school-based incident management, you know. So it was just a training that brought together emergency managers. I was out there. The schools within the county were out there, and it just, you know, it was a 2-day training on all hazards for schools, school-based incidents. So that's the type of stuff that he does routinely that people don't see. He does a fantastic job for the county and the community as a whole.
Yeah, I remember him bringing that big pack and everything was over. I missed the Norfolk Progressive speaking of schools and stuff like that when you were down there, and I assume they questioned you about that. How did that go? The Norfolk Progressive.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it's
Well, I know they were going to hit you. They wanted a deputy down there.
yeah, and which, I mean, kind of branching off into that, yeah, I mean, it's tough, and they understand. And, you know, I mean, we try to be down there as much as we can. And for the school specific, we have one of our deputies that teaches there and there. And, you know, the guys go down there during school time and try to patrol around there. But they were at this training that we had last week, which was really nice.
Good, yeah.
Because then you can get them involved, and you know, even though you can't be everywhere at once, what you try to do is you try to foster those connections. So even if you're not there, like, they have a contact so they can call and say, hey, this is what we have. You know, you continually try to develop those relationships that, so if something does go bad, like, then you're not meeting someone for the first time in a critical incident. You know, we've already established those connections, and people are much more comfortable working with each other. So.
Yeah, just to stay engaged with them is a key thing.
Absolutely, it's huge.
He's still having fun and enjoying it, I'll bet, right?
Yeah, you know what? He will retire at some point, like, completely. And I'm a little anxious about that. Hopefully not anytime soon, but.
Well, I can see he really enjoys it. I know you guys work well together, and like Commissioner Roach, you know, that coordination with all the flood stuff was 7 day a week, you know, for months going on end. So yeah, that was really identified a lot of good things too, and now you have all that experience and knowledge too. So that's make you kind of a leader in that area for sure, you know. So, but, right. Anything else there?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Right. Chair would accept the motion to accept the renewal of the emergency coordinator for the 32-4 with no change.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
All second.
Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Yes.
Right. I think, let's see.
Good morning.
Morning. Donations.
Yeah, that's all we got today is just accepting donations for the final quarter of 2024. We get, those two programs are run completely on donations and ridership fees, the transportation program, and then the Koochiching Warrior Initiative. So as you can see, we had some significant donations come in, and we did a fundraiser at the VFW, so that helped a lot for our transportation program.
Here. I'm just going to read off these persons
Absolutely.
that donated. Absolutely. We appreciate that and all the work that they do and all the work that you guys do coordinating some of it too. So, donations from September 2024 through December 2024 in the amount of $2,000 from VFW Post 2948, $550 from Elks Lodge 1599, $500 from Lehman Trucking, and $2,236 from Chili Bar and Raffles. And that was the Army versus Navy football game fundraiser for a total amount of $5,286 to be used towards the county Veterans Transportation Program. And that's a continual thing. People are continually donating to that, it looks like, right, over the course of the year, and it just continues on, and you get to use for future vehicles and transportation costs and paying some of the staff a little bit. And
Exactly, yep.
Okay.
That's how the program runs, the fuel fees and all that kind of stuff. And there's 2 trips if we go to Minneapolis or Fargo, they're overnight trips and such, yeah.
Right. And for the same time period, September 2024 through December 2024, other donations in the amount of $500 from Friends Garbage, $200 from VFW Post 2948, $200 from VFW Post 9641, $100 from Manco Trucking, $50 from Shannon's Incorporated, and $1,571.92 from personal donations, for a total amount of $2,621.92 to be used towards the Koochiching Warrior Initiative Veterans Lodge.
That's right.
And that's still going strong and having
It is.
attendance and some
Yes.
activities I've seen and read.
Yep, we had our Christmas party up there, and we had a good turnout. So those funds help fund the Coffee with the Vets that we do in Little Fork and Falls. North Home, they do their own thing. They kind of they have a deal with the Shining Light Cafe, but we go down there as well. And I do a satellite office in North Home now too, so trying to stay on top of that, unless the weather stops me from getting down there, which happens from time to time. But yes, the Koochiching Warrior Initiative and the Vets Lodge is still going really well. We have our meeting this afternoon to go over everything, and yeah, it's
Well,
going very
appreciate
well.
all the donors and all the people involved with all the coordination and all the events and stuff you guys are doing. It's
Thank you.
really a great presence. So like you can sense it, feel it, and see it, and it makes the community a lot better too. So it's
Well, we definitely enjoy it and try to keep it interesting over there.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, and I get the coffee with the vets that happens nearly monthly. Is that
It
right?
is every month. We do 3
Okay.
of them a month. Yes.
Okay.
In North Home, Little Fork, and then the Falls.
Okay.
Yep.
And we certainly stop by and say hello whenever you like. And I've been to it a few times, and you just pick a spot, sit down, and just start talking. Cause,
And you never know what you're going to hear
Yeah.
over there. There's lots of good conversation, little gossip, little this and that. So it's fun.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You get to kind of catch up with people and see people you haven't seen, and find out that you know people, maybe the same people. And
That's right.
so yeah, it's pretty neat. So yeah, welcome guys to anybody that
Yes.
sees that stop and say hello at least.
We'll actually be in Little Fork tomorrow for the Coffee with the Vets at the Main Street Pub. So we're down there from 8:30 to 10:30 tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. And we, on another note, we got our the funding for that competitive grant. So that'll also help fund the Koochiching Warrior Initiative and advertising and things like that. So
Perfect.
yeah.
It's looking good. Everything's going well otherwise?
It is, yeah. We're busy and it's a little chaotic, but that's what keeps us on our toes.
All right. Anything else to add?
Not at this time. I think that's it.
Well, it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping in.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
So as per statute 465, we need to have a motion to accept the donations.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. Hi Nathan, we're a little early. Are you prepared?
I am ready.
All right.
Good morning.
Morning.
You have a few things.
Yep. So,
It's not spring yet, come on.
yeah, I know. Trying to get this stuff, kind of formality stuff taken care of. This is, the first one's an annual thing that we do. Come to the board to seek permission to get quotes and execute a contract for a park attendant down at the western boat launches on the Rainy River for kind of the big spring fishing event that happens at those locations every year. So we'd like to have a site attendant have some presence down there just to kind of make sure things can go as smoothly as possible when we see 300 plus, or the potential for 300 plus rigs a day to get launched at, say, the Birchdale Landing. So it helps facilitate things, and they can kind of head some problems off by having that presence down there. So it's worked out well. And then the second part of this is we also, to offset the costs that we incur on that, we also seek a contribution from the DNR and Lake of the Woods County, because Lake of the Woods County, they benefit tremendously off of this. you know, that annual event, if you will, so.
Yeah, it's quite an event. So there's lots of traffic and lots of folks away. I don't know if I'd want to go on the boat landing, to be honest, but.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd be in a boat this morning. There's open water downstream from Emo, about a mile. It must be an acre of wide open water
Huh.
on the Canadian side. You got a spring or something there.
They opened up the gates.
Did they open some gates
Yeah.
up? Yeah.
Like a week ago, they opened up a little.
Just kind of stood out this
Mhm.
morning.
Yeah, and every year, every spring's kind of it's kind of anybody's guess on when the river's gonna open. See, things go smoother when it does open at Birchdale, if it progressively opens up, you know, each day if another landing opens up, because the folks that are using them, they'll spread themselves out. And you don't have everybody bunched up at just one end, so.
Right. And we try to open them up a little bit if we can too.
Yeah, the highway department's really good about, as soon as it's able to get open, they're down there trying to open it up, so. And social media, I mean, the word spreads, I think the last couple of years, in fact, they've had videos out there of the highway department opening them up, and then it's kind of, the race is on then from that point, so.
I used to go a long time ago, and there was hardly any people. 25 years ago, hardly anyone knew about it. And now
Yeah.
it's pretty busy.
Yeah, seems like every other fishing host that has an outdoors TV show, they do at least one show a year up there, and I know Lake of the Woods County, they promote it. They promote that pretty far and wide as well, so.
People from all over could see Iowa plates.
Oh, Texas, you name it. The catch and release. Unbelievable.
Yeah, they drive a long ways to do that. So.
Yeah.
But, a lot of fun.
Supported pretty heavily in Grand Forks paper. Their outdoors guys spend a lot of time up there.
And this is to authorize the seek quotes and execute contracts, and that'll kind of start off the process. And
Yeah, and we'll get somebody lined up to do it, and then the other piece of that motion is then we'll eventually would send requests out to the DNR in Lake of the Woods County for, to help offset those costs as well, which they've done every year, so.
Okay. All right. So Chair would accept the motion to authorize land commissioner to seek quotes and execute contracts. Attendance. Thank you, Commissioner Howell.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Erickson. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, some out-of-state travel.
Yeah, so this is just in accordance with the county's travel policy, seeking permission to travel to Superior, Wisconsin next month for the Great Lakes Forest Certification Summit. This group is a group of public land managers throughout the lake states, so it's Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota DNRs, Wisconsin counties, and then the 5 or 6 counties in Minnesota that have FSC certification on their forest lands. So this group was started about a year ago to kind of start pushing back on FSC's proposed revision standards to their basically to what all of us get audited to. They're kind of getting a little bit overzealous on some of the requirements. So FSC is an international standard that's based in Europe, and they, some of the things are that may be issues in other parts of the world. They're not necessarily an issue in North American forest management. So this group, I think we represent the members that I just rattled off. I think we represent 40+% of the FSC certified acres in North America. So that group carries some clout, and it has gotten the attention of FSC. So we've, the group is, it's slowly evolving, but like I said, it just started last year, and so we've got they've called another meeting in Superior next month. So
heading that up?
So it kind of started with the Wisconsin DNR, their certification coordinator. They have a person on staff that's all they do, just like the Minnesota DNR. They have a certification manager. So it kind of started with just an informal conversation with Wisconsin DNR, kind of reaching out to those of us that are certified in the Lake States and saying, how did your audits go? What are some of the issues the auditors are finding? And, you know, what are some of your concerns with the, you know, proposed updated FSC standards revisions that are coming down the pipe in a couple of years, and so it started with that conversation, and it's grown to the point where the last meeting we had the head of FSC North America attend the meeting and kind of listen to some of the concerns. So, and it's you know, we don't pay any dues or anything like that to belong to this group. It's just, like I said, it's a group that, you know, we have common interest in mind when it comes to this FSC certification. And, you know, I don't know, ultimately, that's always one of the things that's in the back of my mind is how long do we, you know, if it gets to the point where these standards get revised to the point where, you know, it's not feasible for us anymore to have that, you know, is there a date and time in the future where we drop it? So.
So Wisconsin, I thought maybe Hawaii or something.
Sounds like a good,
Suppose we go to
good thing to
Wisconsin,
attend.
right?
2 miles out of the state.
2 miles out of the state. As per policy.
As per policy, exactly.
All right, I would accept the motion to approve the out-of-state travel.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Erickson. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And motion carries.
Thank you.
New truck?
Yeah, so finally, the last item is similar to the sheriff's department. We're just seeking to go out for quotes or bids for one new budgeted department truck for 2025. Similarly, we would come back to the board once we, you know, assuming we get local bids, we'll solicit bids with the 2 local dealerships, and also compare against state bid price, and then we'll come back to the board at the end of February for final approval. So.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Hunt.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Any discussion? So you'd be going local and the estate and things like
our
that,
plan
so-
is we'll send the bid forms out to the 2 local dealerships, and then we'll compare against the state bid prices as well, so.
Then it'll all get presented?
Yep, that'll all get presented, yep.
Okay.
So, and the other thing, ours is a little bit different too. We've been trading in, you know, we typically have a trade vehicle too, so complicates things a little bit with the state bid price, you know. So we're hopeful somebody locally will be competitive.
Sure.
This gauge's warning lights are not acceptable. I don't know if I've seen that before.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right.
The DC is the funniest thing.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't miss
Nobody
anything.
looks at the gauges. What's stapled to the lights?
Well, they all come on nowadays. It's bad sensors, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Great.
Sounds good.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed? And motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nathan.
Have a good day.
Yeah. We're the only ones liking the cold weather, so that's good. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome, where we live.
Morning.
Good morning. That new truck's a good looking rig. I stopped and saw it this morning.
Was it missing a piece?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't get up that close.
Yeah, the wing got ripped off yesterday. So it's in the process of being repaired.
Okay.
But yes, it is a very nice looking truck.
Is the second one?
Yeah, the second one came Wednesday. That's the one with the wing issue.
Oh, really? Wow, didn't take long.
Nope, didn't take long. So we have one RBA here. This one's been a long time coming. Sorry, Commissioner Schulman. You're good?
Yeah, no,
Okay, I wasn't sure if you
I know
were-
this is a long time coming. I know we've been talking about it and discussing it and things like that, so.
Yep.
Sure, go ahead.
So this RBA is to authorize the Highway Department to request an RFP, request for proposals for a design build shop in Mizpah. A design build shop. You know, if it was a bigger shop, we would look at hiring an engineering firm to design it. This is small enough where, you know, it's we've spec'd it out at 56 by 80. It's going to be basically an insulated pole barn, slab poured and everything, but nothing fancy. We've requested some preliminary numbers from some different folks, and we're looking at about $500,000, right where we had budgeted it. That doesn't include potential upgrade to the sewer. You know, we'll have to put a mount system down there, I'm sure, and then have to drill a new well as well. So,
Where's this gonna go at, roughly? Possible.
do you know where the Mizpah shop is right now? So it's going to be just to the west of that. We've got two buildings down there right now. We've got the main shop, and then we've got cold storage right next to it, just to the west of it. And then we've got kind of a lay-down yard to the west of the cold storage. So it would go in the lay-down yard, and then at a later point, we'd come in and we'd take the old shop down. I kind of highlight some of the issues with the old shop. Number one being size, number two being flooding, floods every year. The floor is actually lower than the surrounding ground. So, you know, we see on average in the springtime, you know, if we leave for a weekend, it's guaranteed it's gonna have 1 to 4 inches when we come back, even if we put a sump pump down in the sump hole. Size issues, you know, it's 32 by 60 with 13-foot sidewalls. That's your typical personal garage nowadays. So imagine trying to put two tandems in there, a motor grader, a tractor backhoe, and a pickup truck. It doesn't meet the needs. And
It's an old building, you know, it's made actually full construction, for a building that size, or you
yep, it would. That's the way we did the addition over at the International Falls Garage on the back side back in the late '90s, I think it was, and that's how we did the Silverdale Garage in the late '90s as well.
88-foot sidewalls and a 56-foot span?
Yep.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
They can go up to an 80-foot span, I think, right now with the trusses.
Really?
Yeah, I think by 75. By 105.
So wooden truss. It must get pretty spendy as opposed to
Yeah.
metal, okay?
Look, metal will certainly be an option. You know,
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking about my experience has been,
yeah.
once you get over 40 feet wide.
Yeah, in the RFP that we send out, you know, we'll leave that up for an option. You see a lot of those buildings around arenas and stuff, and different garages, you know, with the metal trusses as opposed to wood.
Thinking about 14-foot doors probably?
Yes. Yeah, as it is now, if they want to get two tandems in there, they got to drop the plows at night to get in there, and then the grader and tractor backhoe get put over in cold storage. Any maintenance that they have to do, where they have to lift the box up, currently has to be done outside, no matter what the weather. As I mentioned in our budgeting process, we're looking at 78% of this building being paid by state aid construction, with the other 22% being local funds.
So would we not be better off just taking the heater out of that building and making it a cold storage building and keeping the old garage too?
Well, I worry about that because of the flooding issues. You know, if it floods in the spring, then there's ice buildup, and I don't really want to keep anything in a wet environment. We have rusting issues and stuff down there as well, so just for longevity equipment, I think it'd be better to get rid of that building. Maybe we can sell it, you know, maybe somebody's interested in taking it down and salvaging the tin and stuff.
Is that a metal building or wood one?
Wood. Yeah.
Put a 6-inch lift in the floor.
Could. It would limit the equipment that we could get through the door. Because
Is
we
that
need.
close now?
Yeah, we need that drop. It'll fit the tractor backhoe through there, and our trucks, of course, our small fleet trucks. But the tandems is tight.
Oh, you got a new shed for the tandem, right?
Yeah. We also, I don't know if folks remember, but we were looking at the MnDOT North Home Shop. So at some point in the near future, well, not necessarily the near future from what I understand, MnDOT purchased a parcel of land from us down at the industrial park in North Home. They're going to build a new shop there. My contact with MnDOT has said that they're thinking maybe 2029 building with a 2030 move-in, which, you know, if we were to purchase their shop, which we don't even know a purchase price on it, could put us out in the 2030, 2031 timeframe. And, you know, their buildings are pretty big at that North Home shop. Utility bills, I would imagine, are pretty high, whereas this one we can control and make it pretty efficient, I think.
Any ideas of costs on something like this, Trent? I noticed that,
This building,
yeah.
500,000.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we've reached out to several places, and that's about the budgetary number that they've given us.
Is that the building or is that the site prep too, the concrete?
We're gonna do site prep. It includes concrete,
It includes concrete?
but all leveling and
And floor heat?
in-floor heat.
That's part of the building.
Yep. Correct.
So it'll be more efficient to heat and you won't have water running through the floor. Yeah.
Isn't it, you said it will be a pole, or would you pour slab and stand up walls?
Pour the slab and stand the walls up.
Yeah,
Yeah, not a pole barn.
not a pole barn, no
Where you're-
poles in the ground.
Yeah, where you're dropping the poles in.
Yep.
4 to 5 feet. No, this would be built on top of the slab.
Floor heat's the only way to go.
Absolutely.
But I think the community will be appreciative of it, and I know our employees will be appreciative of it. So, like I said, it's a long time coming.
Yeah, we've had a lot of discussion about it and everything, so I think we owe you a few bucks too for the other site prep work from the site that MnDOT is looking at. I think that they've actually purchased, and we weren't able to fund it. We had to actually put that back into the KDA.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's up to KDA and the board to decide at some point in the future.
And then this will be this summer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And again, this is just for RFPs. I would come back and get board approval before we proceed.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Howell. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Trent.
Thanks, Trent.
Have a good day.
Hey, Matt.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
So what I have before the board is I'm asking to approve resolutions adopting and implementing the Rainy River, Rainy Lake, the Rainy Rapid, and the Rainy Headwaters Vermilion Comprehensive Watershed Management Plans. The Rainy Rapid and the Rainy Headwaters Vermilion, they're already completed and being implemented. It's just kind of a formal adoption of the plans that's required. And they're on the peripheries of the county, whereas the Rainy River, Rainy Lake plan encompasses, a large swath of Koochiching County. Just wanted to share with you some of the things within the plan that, just to give you a sense, and I know that you've got copies and, you had good, before bed reading when you grab those documents. They're awfully thick, and I didn't include them in the submittal. Tried to not include that many pages because they're each like hundreds of pages long. But so just to give you just an idea, so under the wastewater management, there's wastewater management systems. So like cost share, you can use some of the implementation funding for cost share for septic systems or low interest loans. Gray water feasibility studies in the plan, and then outreach and data collection, SSTS inventory, and just trying to understand some of those items. Stream bank and shoreline stabilization. Funding might be available for updates of ordinances, shoreline and floodplain, depending on the situation. Seal abandoned wells, screen private wells for contamination, maybe testing clinics and various other things for people. Drinking water protection plans, and I know just this morning the policy committee approved using some of the funding that was remaining from the planning effort towards something that would fit under that. Solid waste management improvement projects. So it was very broad, but that could include a lot of things related to our solid waste program. Again, that funding may be available for those types of things. Of course, the forest health management, noxious weeds, and AIS types of things. And all of these plans have similar types of things. It's about how do we improve water quality or protect water quality, and trying to take real world things that we're dealing with. That's the way I look at it. And how can we utilize the implementation funding for those types of projects. So today I'm just asking you to approve the resolutions adopting the plans, and just to give you a sense. On the Rainy Rapid, they had a section that, and this was more Lake of the Woods County, but they were using it to cap. There was something related to capping their demolition landfill. So they got to close it this fall, and it costs money to cap these things and get it up to the MPCA standard. And so they have an item in there that they might be able to use some of the funding related to it for that purpose. How much, that's another question, but again, it's nothing but, we're trying to find ways to pay for things. And the funds are available. You try to get initiatives within these plans that, can help solve some issues within our county.
Are centralized systems part of this availability for funding? I know you mentioned septic, shoreline mitigation, things like that. Are centralized systems like obviously in the watershed area, are they part of this availability too?
Yeah, so the when we talk about, and let me get to that section here. Bear with me. If the solution to an area, so say it's first of all as a private system, and the best solution is connecting to a municipal sewer system, that may be something that could be applied for some of the funding. But again, there's a balance there. I'm not sure how it would go exactly, but it certainly could be something that, would look at how do we improve wastewater management and how does that improve water quality.
Well, yeah, I just say that because of some of the MPCA, cuts, obviously, for some of the funding for the centralized sewer systems. Is just the next step of how to get some of that funding, backfilled or whatever you want to call it, so it's just a thought.
Jerry, especially on the islands possibly.
Yeah, I mean, the gray water part of it that I mentioned there, doing an assessment, trying to understand what we've got and how do we find solutions, huge deal, right? So yeah, I mean, lots of, there's opportunity in the implementation funding. Again, it has to be approved before it's actually used. The policy committee on these plans, for these plans, makes the decisions as to how the funds are used. And Destri's on the Rainy Lake plan. I'll be shortly coming to the board for a joint powers agreement on the Big Fork and Little Fork. Those are big areas within our watershed or within our county that we'll want to be involved with. So you would want to appoint somebody on those policy committees to help direct, what the plans look like and then how the implementation is going to go. So, but we're just getting started on those two. This one on the Rainy Lake. We're just finishing the plan and now we're going into implementation. The Rainy Rapid watershed, that's already it's in an implementation stage, and then the Rainy Headwater Vermilion watershed, that's already being implemented, but that's a very tiny part of the county that's included on that, and I think it's all public land too, so a very small part east and north of the Rainy North Road. The Rainy Rapid would include the Rapid River area on the western part of the county. So just looking for approval to adopt, or for the resolutions to adopt plans. And one other thing, the implementation funding, if you just think of the plans, I mean, and I'm just using round figures, but the implementation for every 2 years is probably $500,000 every 2 years. So that policy committee will identify priorities in the plan and then try to fit them into, whatever they're, where those funds might go.
On these here, do you want each one of these resolutions separate, or do you want them together?
You could do them each separately and just approve each one, or you could do them together, whichever you choose.
Right. Well, let's do them individually. If there's any question, then they're done separately. So, anything else to kind of add on to that, or anything? We'll go through here.
Unless you have questions.
Yes, questions. Anyone?
No, I'm good.
All right. So the first up would be a resolution to adopt and implement the Rainy Lake Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan. I'll just read these out. Whereas Rainy Lake Watershed Planning Partnership has sent to Minnesota Board of Water and Soil Resources the Rainy Lake Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan for approving according to Minnesota Statutes 103B.101 Subdivision 14. Now be it resolved, Koochiching County hereby adopts and will begin implementation of the approved comprehensive watershed management plan for the area of the county identified within the plan, contingent upon the approval from the Board of Water and Soil Resources. The comprehensive watershed management plan replaces the Koochiching County comprehensive water management plan for Koochiching County purposes for the area of the county identified within the plan. So I'll just read that once because they're just the different areas of the plan. So, but that is what we'd be looking at for each one of the three. But the first one I would accept on would be the Rainy Lake Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan.
How much different?
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. The next resolution will adopt and implement is the Rainy Rapid Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre. Any discussion? Here now, I'll call the question. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Next up is a resolution to adopt and implement. It is for the Rainy Headwater Vermilion Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. So these other plans, Matt, just before you go quickly, these other, you'll bring that information like you said here, and then we'll again start this similar process for the other three
Yes.
that are still in the area that obviously they're much larger areas too.
Yeah, so the Big Fork and Little Fork are the two plans that we're gonna be bringing to the board here very soon. In fact, I think I've gotta get board approval for for the joint powers agreement, or the agreement. And the agreement's basically with all the entities that participate. So Itasca County, St. Louis County, any of the cities, possibly some of the, like Moise Fort, or if Red Lake wants to participate. So any of those entities that want to participate, you'd be going into a joint powers agreement or some kind of agreement that states we're going to work together to implement the plan and prioritize what things we want to get done. Well, and the first thing is to do the plans. Help direct what that plan says. Once the plans are completed, then it goes to implementation. So.
Yep. So, and this has been a couple-year process so far, right?
Yeah, on this, we're just finishing up on the Rainy River Rainy Lake plan, and it's been a year and a half process. It's been good. I mean, we're trying to get things that fit within what's allowed, and how can we best utilize it. I mean, that's, the state wants us to do that, to replace our watershed plan. We have a county watershed plan that was done some number of years ago, 2017 or thereabouts, and it's a 10-year plan, but they want to change and go to these one watershed plans, which are watershed based rather than county. So, and they want the different entities that are on within those watersheds to work together to utilize funding to help with water-related issues in those areas.
Yeah, like you say, some of these watersheds go far into other counties too. So.
Yeah. But the Big Fork and Little Fork, they're the majority of our county, so they'll be very important that we're involved. So. And this Rainy River is also, Rainy River, Rainy Lake is all within basically the county. So.
Anybody have any other questions for that? Well, thank you, man.
All right,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is public comment. Anybody in person or online for public comment?
What are you looking at me for?
You're here for public comment.
I am. My name's Bill Valentine. I live at 1504 Fifth Avenue East, International Falls. Just have a couple questions. I went to the committee of the whole meeting last night, City of International Falls. This discussion again was brought up about them spending a couple $1 million on their police station. And when I asked a couple questions, the response I got back from my city councilors was that they reached out to the county to see if they could leave some space in the new law enforcement, and apparently they said they haven't received any reply. Okay, first thing I'm asking is I'd like to know who from the city reached out to whom from the county. Now, a little bit further discussion last night, is apparently, from what I understand, and I was there listening with my ears, is somebody called and asked, you got space for us to lease? With no details of what they need, when they need it. I just want to know who's telling the truth. Is the city reaching out to you guys and you guys aren't responding, or is the city not reaching out to you guys and you guys are just sitting here? I mean, the word on the street, right? You talk to, and I'm just a Joe Blow taxpayer. I was in Grand Rapids last weekend at a hockey tournament, and I had people walking up to me, what's going on? I don't know nothing, but I want to know what's going on. I opened my mouth here a couple months ago, and apparently, they had some representatives from Kraus Anderson. There was no one here on the board at the meeting last night.
No.
And now they scaled down the $4 million down to $1.9 million for phase one. They're looking at a two-phase implementation now. I'm getting the feeling from the city that they want an answer. They want an answer yesterday from you guys. Do you have room for them? Do you guys have room for them? That was one of the questions that was asked.
Yes, we do.
And somebody over there said, and I should name names, but you guys can look at the minutes. They told us we don't have room for us over there. Okay, that's what I'm getting from my city councilors. I'm getting pretty upset because this has been going on now ever since they moved out of the law enforcement center. That's a different topic. I'm the here and now. And I'm feeling as a citizen that it's coming down to they need to know, they want to know, so they can start spending money that they don't have, okay, on this new law enforcement center up there in a residential district.
We have plenty of room for them right next door.
Yeah, in the old law enforcement center.
Okay. Now, this meeting is recorded?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's what I'm asking for, is I want somebody, because you talk to these people on the street, they'll tell you one thing to your face, and then the next thing when you're sitting in a meeting, they tell you something totally different. Now, I know we have a new mayor, okay? And he's gonna be working hard. But we still got the same city council, okay? And I'm not saying, shut up, we'll go a different direction on that, but I just would like some answers. Would someone from the county, you guys commissioners apparently, I don't know how this system works, do you even know who to reach out to over at the city? Who would reach out to you?
You want to take that one?
What's your name?
Yeah, we'll make sure we get your questions recorded as public comments, so if you're good with the questions, I think we just want to make sure you get everything set, and then we can respond or look into it or whatever we need to do, so.
And who is that?
This is,
I don't know who that is.
well, no, this is Administration Director Adam Cole.
Okay.
So he kind of heads up all the information and kind of distributes it for us specifically and intimately, I guess, or whatever. You know, but a lot of hands-on stuff with that. A lot of the commissioners here will also bring items to him to look into to get more information on or whatever. So he's kind of the point person for all of that type of thing. So, first off, I'll start by saying, we certainly want to work with the city, obviously, with what's going on and everything, and cost and savings is part of it here. This isn't something that we are going to not look at for us and for the community as well. But at the same time, they do have their governing body that does make those decisions. We don't make those decisions. They're voted by the citizens of the community to serve those same citizens and make those decisions on behalf of of their community. So, and in similar response, we're similar. We don't provide the same services, obviously. We have other services, mandated services that we're required to provide, and I can get into a list of that if you like. But I think foremost, we're always cognizant of savings. A building that can be repurposed and reused is always better than a building sitting empty. First and foremost, because but nothing's free. Nothing's free. There's costs associated with renting, building, buying, remodeling. No matter who does it. So just so everyone's aware of that as well. So, but I think you know, we've had discussions amongst our group here as a committee of the whole. We've had discussions in our space committee that myself and Commissioner McIntyre sit on. I've had discussions with Administrator Cole about this specifically. I've had questions from Mayor Dell, who stopped by and has publicly, and during his campaign, said this is one of the things that, you know, he wants to look at. So, you know, there's a lot of, it's not just going to go away for us, and I think we're open to anything, and I think even our board here is open, and I won't speak for everyone, but I think I'd see a lot of nodding heads, you know, that we're open to that discussion. And then the needs, the timelines, things like that, I don't know that, because that has not been, to my knowledge, been communicated to myself or to Adam. So, but I'll let Adam had some correspondence with the administrator of the city, and I'll let him speak to that. So if he wants to, I mean, obviously it's email correspondence and phone conversations, things like that, and you know, just the gist of that, I guess, is if you certainly would like that shared as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the city administrator reached out to me here over a month ago. We met December 3rd and talked about what space the county might have available. The county has had a space committee because we've been looking at, you know, potentially vacant space. What are we going to do with that space? How would we best serve the public with additional space? You know, I don't want to speak for them, but generally commissioners in the space committee have consensus that, you know, if the city PD would like that space, that we would want to prioritize that for them and for.
Adam, did she give you, or the city administrator give you any specifics in that meeting? Did she have what the police department needs?
No, that was kind of the next step. That was the takeaway. And I said, go back, you know, let the county know what space you need. We can bring it back to this body and say, can we meet that need? And if we can, then we'll have some joint discussions on what that might look like. I've since had email correspondence with Administrator Bergstrom, as well as a phone call about the same thing, and reiterated that, you know, let us know what your needs are, and we'll go from there. I said, you know, I think that space, nothing's off the table as far as that goes. I mean, we coexisted in that space with sheriff and PD for many years, and so with that whole space becoming available, there is more space available than was there before. So really, I feel like it's in the city's court to let us know what they might need, and then we can take that back and have that discussion here on next steps.
And I totally agree, and that's the main reason why I'm here. I'm just trying to find out, because what they said last night, from my understanding, was they reached out to you guys, haven't heard anything from you guys. Okay, that's the way I took away from that meeting last night. So I'm a simple guy, somebody pulling my leg over here, and that's what I'm trying to get down to, is someone over there dropping the ball? You know, are they just, I don't know. And you know, that's why I'm here asking these questions. Is I mean, that's what I told Kostyuk last night. Have you given them what you guys need? Well, we can't get a price. Well, no, you can't get a price from them because they don't know what you need, right? Have you given them that information?
We need square footage and garage stalls.
Exactly. I get a blank stare when I ask that question.
That'd be
So it's going somewhere, okay? Kostyuk said he had the information, he passed it on. So where did it go? Is it in somebody's trash bin because nobody over there is interested? That's what I'm trying to find out. And like I say, I'm just a simple guy. I'm just like a bird dog chasing a partridge in the bush. Eventually I'm going to find out what's going on here. And they're going to talk about this in their next city council meeting, which is next Tuesday apparently, again, about this 1.9, because now they made it feel like they're under a time frame because they want to get in there as soon as possible. So now it's going to take them 10 months to do this phase 1, but they got to know by the middle of February if they can do it. So, and it has nothing to do with you guys. It's just I want to know what's going on.
Can't give somebody a price until we know what they need.
Thank you, and that's where I'll see what is going on. I'll try to find out why that information wasn't passed on. I mean, I heard the call was made out, but like I say, if I don't tell you what I need, you can't tell me what you got and if you can make it work, right?
That'd be like me calling you and saying, I need a bus to haul people. You get there and I have 200 people and you have a
Exactly.
bus that'll fit 55.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'd have to tell you how many people we
Exactly.
have to bring the amount of buses you need.
Exactly. So, and that's, and just on the same basic principle, it was also brought up, opened a discussion last night about doing away with the city police department and having the county take over. Explore some options on that. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just trying to save the city and county some money. We're getting just, it's crazy the amount of money that. So that may be just, I don't know.
It's going that way in a number of different counties.
Yep.
I mean, that's undeniable.
In bigger cities than international.
And
I know that.
To be clear, I'm not going to speak for these guys, but I'm not pushing it. But if it's something that they want to consider,
Well, I'm a voter in our city and our county. You know what I mean? I'm trying to see where, I hate to use the word doge, but maybe we need to be a little more efficient.
I look around, and I'm a simple guy like you, and I see, we just had a discussion about a building in Northland that's going to be empty in 4 or 5 years, and then there's an end of school that's empty, and all we talk about is building new stuff here and there. I'm thinking, man, there's got to be some way that things can figure out, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I realize things get bigger. I realize things expand. But there is such a thing as living within your budget.
Exactly. Exactly. So I don't know, and I asked the city council last night too to reach out to you guys. And I would like, some of you guys know me, some of you don't. You can shoot me a message when or if anyone from the city reaches out to you between now and the next city council meeting, which is next Tuesday. I'd appreciate that. And I want this stuff to be public.
Yep.
Dealing with this last person that's no longer sitting over there, he wouldn't anything public. He'd whisper in your right ear one word and in somebody else's left ear another word. I want this stuff public, so there's all kind of people running around coming up with their own assumptions and stuff, but we need to hear it from our leaders, our elected officials. Okay, A is A, B is B, this is what's going on here, this is what's going on there, some public transparency, and that's the least we can do as representatives. My personal feeling anyways, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know.
No, you're not off base on that at all. So I think that's the communication needs to be a little more open dialogue. But again, that's their decision as well. We can't.
Understandable, totally understandable.
That's the decisions that body made.
Yep.
No different than a school board.
Exactly.
That they get people elected to make those decisions.
Yep.
But we're willing to work with anyone on anything like that too. So, and the numbers.
That's our root cause. Me as a person that goes to not very many meetings because I can't with my schedule, but when they flat out, is somebody lying? That's what I want to know. That's the bottom line to this whole me being here today.
And I think I know the sheriff's department, the police department spends half their time at our sheriff's department still
I
to
know.
this day.
That's
So the
part of their
communication
job.
between the two of them being together
Yes.
is way better off than being separated.
And I don't know. I'm not a police officer, but you can.
The amount of knowledge shared between two entities is
Exactly.
way better off.
So, and that's, I appreciate you guys letting me talk a little bit. And it's just like somewhere. You look at Facebook and everybody's got a different
Answer.
perspective, and it's no, we need to hear from you guys. And I charged the city with the same thing last night. What do they call them? I'm brain dead half the time.
City,
The ward leaders or?
No, what are they called? Council members.
Council members.
City council. Yeah.
To do the same thing, is to appoint someone. When I asked a question, who contacted Adam? Okay, give me a name. Let's put some responsibility on someone here.
They wouldn't give you a name.
Well, no. Betty. But did Betty? Because Betty says she contacted him and didn't hear nothing. So was that a voicemail left? Was that an email left? I don't know. How did you guys meet? Do you guys meet in a room like this with the city? Can they request a meeting with you guys?
No, they met at the Coffee Landing Metro because I heard about it. What are they doing sitting at that table when they had just sat down?
But can I mean, I don't know, is that accepted practice? Do you guys, I mean, are we partners in this county, city, or are they against us? Are you against them? Are they against you?
Yeah, no, I really think the communication is open, at least on our end. I really do. We have, you know, what better, and this is the way I look at it, is what better would you, if you had a bowling alley and you wanted to sell it, now what would you sell it as? Would you sell it as a bowling alley, or would you sell it as a house? Well, it's a bowling alley, right? That's what you do there. You go bowling. So why would you sell it as a house? It would be no good for a house. No different than a law enforcement center. You have secure doors, secured walls, locks, etc., etc. Yes, does it need some upgrades? Yeah, sure. It needs a facelift, needs freshening up. But that's best served as what it is, to be honest with you. Without major rehab, for us to do different, to have office space, things like this here, removing doors, things like this here, that's what it is suited for right now is what it's being used for now. So, and no, I mean, anybody, I don't know how you could argue that it wouldn't be a good space. You know, it's just the idea of the timing and the communication of,
Exactly.
you know, what's the timeline, things like this here, you know, do we need to have some special, you know, I mean, all that stuff has not been discussed. So whenever this interaction happens, I mean, I think that's the information.
So you guys,
you know.
so I'm under the understanding, though, you guys will not, you know, the dire strait, or this, not dire, but the position that our city police department's in, will you guys reach out to them to let them know, hey, I don't care if you take an ad out in the newspaper. Let's talk.
I try going to every meeting they can over at that city to see what they have to say.
Please.
They left already the first time, right? I mean, they're the ones. So if they want to come back, and they could have been in this new building with us, right? This is the first thing that they've tried backing out of. So if they want to call, and we're open, we got a building over there. All we got to do is sit down and make a phone call.
And that's up you. We're gonna. So I understand when I walk out the door today, it's gonna be up to someone from the city to reach out to you guys.
They're the ones
We
that
just
made the
know what they
decision
want.
to leave.
Exactly.
They're the ones that need to make the decision to come back. We can't make them come back.
No, understandable.
And we want them here because it saves everybody money.
Exactly.
But they're the ones that walked out the first time.
The people in International Falls are citizens of Koochiching County.
Yep.
Exactly.
The citizens got to start pushing that board over there.
And we asked them if they wanted to be involved with our sheriff's department when we're building this new building, because we were going to build space into it for them. And they said no.
Because we want our own.
I mean, we have all that
Yes.
past information if you need it to. So if you're looking for some of that past stuff, I think we can take some of them things up when this was all being talked about as a complete remodel, so we can get the numbers and the space and the cost of all that too, if anybody needs or was looking at it. So I think
Appreciate
ICS could dig that up. You can see the overall concept of what was discussed back in 2021, 22 in that area there. So you need any of that, just let one of us know, let them know. We can work on digging it up and getting that out there if you need it. So, you know, just to kind of put the, you know, quash the, you know, the not necessarily the critics, but the rumors, you know.
Exactly.
That, you know, this stuff was discussed and talked about. I mean, we've obviously done other things too, that we've reached out to Lake of the Woods to see if they wanted to go along. We're actually I think we have an MOU with Lake of the Woods actually, that they're, you know, considered leasing five beds, not permanently, not forever, but you know, we're trying to do what we can to, you know, kind of ease the burden a little bit and help them out, help us out. And, so yeah, I mean, I think we've, you know, we're remote. We can't go north. We've got to go east, west, or south. You know, so you know, we're kind of alone up here a little bit to a certain extent too. You know, and it costs a lot of money for us to transport and transfer and do anything, you know, so across the board, not just for this stuff, but for other things too, so. But I appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
If,
And
sir-
stop in anytime you want. We like people coming to our meetings and get very few. So you're welcome here anytime.
Thanks for having me.
All right, have a great day.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, have a good day.
Is there anyone else for public comment? Just gonna say good morning to Crystal. I see she's online there, so good morning. I know it's cold, so I know why you're not here. All right. Any other business? If there's no other business, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Hunt.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Rich. All those in favor of adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And we are adjourned. Thank you.